Hi, this is Marina from Saint Petersburg. Today I wanted to show you the monument to the most famous Russian person that all of you know. That's the monument to Catherine the Great, one and only, the Empress of Russia. The monument is surrounded by Catherine's most prominent contemporaries, and we all know that she had many lovers, but only one of them made it to the pedestal. Another famous figure, Prince Gregory Potemkin. Everything about their affair was intense. How they met in 1774, how their wits and ambition clashed and complemented each other, how he was the only morganatic husband of Catherine the Great, how he, even after he fell out of favor, held immense political power and was known as a Tsar in all but name, how he was the only lover of Catherine's whom he called my twin soul. And even when he was dying at only 52, his last words were, "Forgive me, Mother Sovereign," obviously dedicated to Catherine. She was very distraught when he died, and she wrote down in her diary that my friend, my almost idol, my Prince of Taurida, Prince Potemkin, has died. Today I wanted to tell you about one of the many roles that Catherine the Great had. This time it would be Catherine the Great, the very proud grandmother. She had only one legitimate son herself whom she did not get to raise. Paul was raised by his aunt, the Empress of Russia, Elizabeth, and his upbringing was very typical for 18th century. A lot of nannies hovering around him, covering him in fur coats and indulging him in everything. Catherine had 10 grandchildren, but she took particular care of raising the two oldest boys herself. Their names were Alexander and Constantine. She hired a mentor for them, but she controlled the entire process and actually wrote and printed a book on raising kids. So there would be no idleness for the boys. Whenever they were not studying, they would be helping in the kitchen garden or learning how to operate different machine tools, and they had contrast showers. So they were never sick. Some of her principles could really be easily useful today, about fostering kids' curiosity or never ridiculing them for their mistakes. Of course, I have to admit that her favorite grandson was obviously the oldest boy, Alexander, future Emperor Alexander I, whom she named after Alexander the Great. I wanted to tell you about the legend that involves the death of Catherine the Great. It's not the death itself, because despite the rumors, her death was very mundane. She died from a stroke in her bedroom. She was 67, but this is the legend about the will that Catherine might have had. She was on bad terms with her son Paul, and she quite often threatened him that she would leave the throne to her grandson Alexander, ahead of Paul. But the first person who entered the room after Catherine had passed away was Paul. And according to the legend, he rushed inside, searched the room, found the will, and threw it into the fireplace. We'll never know what happened back then, but the fact is that it was Paul who succeeded the throne.